My friends, it's puck time. I'm Lawrence Presman, Dave Koch, and with us, Andrew McGinnis, Carmine Bianco. Excited, as always, to do this show. Douglas in STJ, he got off work early. He gets to join us. Welcome. Man, I tell you, nothing makes me happier than having like 50 guys waiting before the show begins. Carmine, how are you, my friend? Nice background.
Yes, Guy. All is good, man. Good running soccer, good running hockey. Hockey's starting to warm up, so it's great. And I've got a ton of stuff going on. You were a gracious host yesterday. You invited 7 or 8 of us to your place to play some poker, swim in your pool, and watch the games, including the Philadelphia game, in which I think we both had the same play, which was the Flyers in regulation time.
Yeah, we won that, dude. I won my hockey play last night, 2 in a row. I'm just absolutely destroying hockey right now in the playoffs, and I'm excited about it. I got one hockey bet up today, so check that out at WagerTalk.com. Dave Kochen, we missed you yesterday. How have you been, brother? I saw a couple of days ago you swept the board. How did you do yesterday?
A win and a push. I got a little greedy in the hockey, and I decided to go Flyers -1. So I pushed that, and it should have won, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. But no harm done with the push. And I had the A's in baseball, which was an 8-4 winner. So outside of one blip on this past Sunday where I went 0-3, I mean, it's been a 6-week run that's actually longer than that. It's been absolutely amazing, and look to keep it going.
Nicely done, dude. And Andrew McGinnis, the man of the moment. You made a shit ton of sales on the $2 Tuesday play. The play you released was for Wednesday. It was the under in the Montreal-Philadelphia Flyers game. And, man, I tell you, the goalies stood on their head. Both looked incredible. Carey Price with maybe the save of a lifetime with that diving. We didn't even know he touched the puck. Carm and I were like freaking out.
Yeah. I thought the guy missed the net.
So
it's like, and I had the Flyers, and so I'm sitting there, and how did he miss the net?
Yeah, I thought it hit the defenseman and went over the net. So God, I think we were all wrong.
Play. Absolutely incredible. When I saw the replay,
saved Nick Suzuki's life too.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Anyway, congrats, Suzuki, man. Well, you know what? Kudos to him for sticking his bloody head in the way. Anyway, Andrew, congratulations, man. I'm so proud of you, dude. I mean, we just, the relationship with you over the last 18 months has been incredible and amazing to watch. You came out of nowhere, and now you're just doing so great, and you've got a real handle on your betting strategies and whatnot. So way to go, dude.
I appreciate it, Prez. Seriously do, and I'm just super happy to be at WagerTalk.com now, and happy to cash my first $2 Tuesday play. It was great for WagerTalk to give it one more day. It was a $2 Tuesday play, like you mentioned. They extended it to Wednesday as well, so everyone can grab that for $2 as well on Wednesday. And I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that there was some sweaty moments. I was texting Carmine while you guys are playing poker together, and for sure there were some moments, just like the one we just talked about, where it could have just probably slipped over the total. But when Montreal tied it up and they gave up a goal right after that, I got a little nervous. But when you got Carey Price playing the way he did, and Carter Hart looked pretty confident, I had a feeling in Game 1 that the under was the way to go. So happy to cast. Special thank you to everybody that hopped on board with me. And I'll have 2 plays up this afternoon as a 2-pack for everyone to grab.
Awesome. We got 4 games to discuss today, plus some other stuff we will intersperse throughout our conversation. I want to welcome everybody. Bob Hope, love seeing you, dude. You asked if we have shirts and hats for puck time. I'm game. If you guys out there are interested in buying puck time shirts or hats, I will task Carmine, because I don't do a damn thing, to organize it.
I'm great at that. I'll take care of it.
Okay, but I will wear it. Dude, the name Puck Time is a great name. I will say that. Mitch Klein, nice to see you, brother. Raymond Reddington from the Blacklist. Douglas and STG, Dougie, on and on. John Howard, Davey, Repulate. Chaz, that is a Chaz Ellington. If this dude ain't a jazz piano player / trumpeter, I don't know. He's his name is not right. John Howard, nice to see you. Jared Schrader, always great. Love having you. And how are you doing, Ulysses? Ulysses, is that your real name, dude? I don't think I've ever met a Ulysses. Dave, you're the oldest. Have you ever met a Ulysses?
Yeah, I used to hang out with Grant on a regular basis.
I actually could understand that. Okay, boys. First up.
Actually, yes, I do. A good friend of mine, who I haven't seen in a few years, actually. His name Ulysses, lives here in Las Vegas. Great guy. I forgot about it.
Braden, he writes, who is the guy in the top right? Now, Braden, I don't know which one the top right is. Is it Skier's right? Is it your right? I am me, the Prez, Lawrence Presman, co-founder of WagerTalk.com. And the old man with the gray beard is the legend, Dave Koken, a man that we all aspire to be. A guy that has basically been one of the founding fathers of this industry. So if you want to know more about Dave Koken, look him up. Google Dave Koken. Daniel's never met a Prez. Well, now you have, bro. How are you, Frank? Okay, boys. Tampa Bay minus 175. Columbus plus 155. The total here is 5. And Dave, I'm going to go to you first. And let me give you my quick take. And Carmen and I were talking about this last night.
All right.
I think Tampa Bay is going to win the series. And I think Tampa Bay is going to win the series in 5. I think Tampa Bay is going to win today, and I think they're going to win in regulation. I just don't want to touch this bet. I don't know what I mean. I am like positive the bet is Tampa Bay in regulation, and yet this Columbus team, they're just so pesky, man. They're like the Baltimore Ravens when Trent Dilfer led them. They just get it done somehow, some way. They slow the game down. They clog up the lanes. Tampa Bay in regulation for me, but I'm telling everybody now I am not touching this game, and I will likely not touch this series at all. Dave?
I don't know what to do with the game. They're coming off 5 overtimes. I really don't know what the physical or mental condition for either team will be. I don't think, if it was a game 3 and Tampa had gone up 3-0, then I'd say, well, that Columbus is dead, and they'll just mail it in here. But it's only one game, and the Blue Jackets are going to look at that and say, well, we played them even for a million minutes. Why can't we go out there and beat them today? But you've got Korpisalo off a game where he had 80-something saves. Anderson, nobody's mentioning
65.
Anderson also had like 60-something saves in the game. So I don't know. This is just a guess. I want to make it clear I'm not backing this with money. It's just a guess. I think you might see some goals today. I think you could see some sloppy defensive play, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a soft goal or two allowed by 2 tired goalies. So I would, if
Dave Koken with us.
I take the over.
Hulk thinks Flames is the best play. We'll get there, bro. We're going to talk about every game on tap. And Jared likes what you're saying, Dave. He agrees with the over. Tired legs on D. I will say this, guys. As a man who plays a whole lot of hockey, and I have played 3 games in one day, the legs are tired for the first 10 minutes, and then they get warmed up and they're ready to go. Andrew, what do you like in this game?
Yeah, for me, Prez, I'm not going to just guess with it. I actually back Dave completely, and I'm putting some money where my mouth is with this bet. I believe that the over is definitely the spot here. First and foremost, if you were to ever give me a 5 as a total in a Tampa Bay game, that would be just enough almost to bet it right there. But secondly, I'm a big believer, and I was talking with a few people about this, and I think you can really spin it either way. To be honest with you, no matter what argument you made, but I'm a big believer that, like you guys said, I think that fatigue creates sloppiness, and that creates poor defensive play. I don't think hockey players, professional athletes, lose their skill with fatigue. They can touch the ability to cash in on those 2-on-1s. It's going to be that extra step on defense or that extra urgency to back check and things of that nature. I also wanted to mention Blue Jackets go 1 for 5 on the power play. Lightning go 0 for 4. That first of all, that this Lightning team is usually lights out, no pun intended, on their power play. And we saw how many shots, 88 and 63. In that last game, I believe we see over 5 goals easily here. This is a play I like quite a bit, and I think it's set at this spot because many people are going to believe that because they're tired, they won't score. I'm more on the end saying because they're tired, the defense won't be there, and the talent will really show up. If we look at it, we saw Pierre-Luc Dubois get on the board in the first period, and then we saw Braden Point. But after that, we didn't really see any all-stars get on the scoring sheet. And I think that we'll see more of that in this game. So I'm going to get to
we're going to do a segment at the end of the show with some player props. Andrew's been working on that. And I want to just make...
I wanted to ask a question here while we stay on this game for a moment. If we're both agreeing, and Prez, I believe you are as well, we'll find out what Tom thinks in a moment, this favors scoring because there might be some sloppiness. Does that also favor Tampa in the sense that they have the much better, clearly they're the much better offensive team, and if Columbus can't play their game, which is to keep it as close as possible and avoid mistakes.
Well, not only that, I think you could take the Lightning at -1.5 too a little bit there. I was talking to Carm yesterday while swimming in the pool, and I said Tampa Bay is going to light it up tonight. So I'm with you. Great point, Dave. And just to make mention real quick on what Andrew was saying about tired legs affect the defense, it doesn't actually affect the defensemen. As a guy who plays defense in hockey, you could play all day. What it does is it affects the forecheck, the back check, and how much space the opponents have when entering your zone. And that is a big deal. So a great point, Andrew. Yep.
Great point, Prez.
Yeah, great point. Carmine Bianco, you got a couple of guys behind you with bags over their heads.
Leaf Nation, your Leaf Nation. I thought I'd have that up today. Listen, I'm on the agreement train with these guys as far as the total. Listen, you never think a team can throw in a clunker in the playoffs because this is the playoffs. And Tortorella is a great coach in getting his team motivated. But here's the thing is this Columbus team, yes, they're coming off 5 overtimes. They've played 7. This will be their 7th game. This will be their 7th game in 12 days. 3 of the last 4 which have gone to overtime. If there was ever a game, especially one where you're coming off of 5 overtimes, this is going to affect them a hell of a lot more than it affects Tampa. I think we're going to see goals here, and as Dave said, they're going to come from Tampa. I actually think this is a spot where maybe they proved me wrong, where it's just I hate to call them throwaway games, but I think we see a clunker from Columbus, more so because I think Tampa is going to win and is going to win by a marginal score. So you can look at -1.5 plus 155, and you could also take a shot at -2.5. Laying 3 goals in a game, guys, is asking a lot, but you're getting a price of 285, and if they're up a couple goals in the third period, they're going to pull the goalie. You've always got that as and if they're up a couple goals, they're always pulling the goalie with about 4 minutes left. You've got that to fall back on as well too, but the main thing here is the over 5.
There you go.
Tampa. I love that.
Boys, okay, I just want to make mention of a couple of things, and we'll get to the next game. First off, As all of you guys can see, we are doing this show using the Sports Memo podcast image, and there is an image of a football field behind the four of us. Now, we did have a puck time image, and we still have it. It just doesn't look very good, and we are updating. We had some guys on Twitter yesterday complaining about the image we are using on this show. Are you kidding me? That's your complaint? The frickin' image? Close your eyes. Okay, well, other than Steven Spielberg, we actually had some guys complaining about the image. Guys, we are rebuilding all 3 of the main websites that we own. We are rebuilding all our images and graphics and everything for our new YouTube show format that we'll be launching in the next few weeks. Our designer does not have time right now to put together a puck time image. So please excuse our image. I mean, come on, man.
I want
Dave.
An image makeover as well.
You do look 35
right now. That'd be great.
But it's like I got told by Chris at head office, Prez, they're complaining about your image, and I'm thinking, man, like, I could just imagine these guys. They go out on a date with Charlize Theron. They come home. They're like, man, she just had too much hair on her toenail. I can't date her, man. Too much hair. Too much hair on her foot. Anyway. Yeah, man hands for Charlize Theron. That's it. I'm not having sex with Charlize Theron. She's got man hands.
You know what's it's funny, Prez, just because you're talking about this stuff, and we'll get back to hockey. One of my friends says to me, and listen to this, he goes, Megan Fox, she's really good.
Yeah, I think that guy is the same guy that complained about our image. Oh my God, man. Like, oh my.
I've had some good look. I will be honest with you. I've had my share of girlfriends over the years, and a lot of really good looking girls. Okay, really good looking girls, and I don't think I've ever looked at any of their thumbs.
Yeah, I don't get it. And then so I had to Google it to see what he was talking about.
Who looks at
I
that?
guess she has like a smaller thumb. I don't know. You have to Google it, Megan Fox's thumbs, and it'll show you some pictures. And I don't get it. Like,
yeah.
You have friends.
Well, anyway, our incredible show with this brilliant host and the 3 most unbelievable guests of all time. We're using the wrong image. Oh my God. Anyway, Maxwell Smart, you want to pay for a smoked meat sandwich at Center Street Deli? Carmen and I will meet you there. No problem. Okay. Yep. I'd rather eat Schwartz's in Montreal, though. Not that Andrew would know about that. He just cheers for that stupid team.
I've
actually been there.
Waitresses at the Schwartz.
Yeah, a little bit too much hair on their left toe, but what can I tell you? J-Rob, thanks for the nice messages, brother. Okay, boys, let's get to the next game, and then we're going to talk about Carmen, my Colorado bet last night. That's a good... Vegas Golden Knights, minus
team, right?
200.
Nice.
Yes, we are.
Just go, Dave. Just go.
Yes, sir. And let's talk about Game 1, because in Game 1, I believe the Blackhawks on 5-on-5 had 9 shots the entire game. That was, listen, there's a big class difference between these two teams. It could have been a lot worse than 4-1. And the first line for the Golden Knights, which was a very good line, didn't do anything. It was Pacioretty's first game back, and he was a little bit rusty. He's getting his legs under him. But, I mean, Riley, as usual, he's a tremendous player in the playoffs. He fourth line chipped in with a goal, and they all scored a point with extremely physical. We said this going in. I think we all agreed it was a bad matchup for Chicago. It is. I'll be surprised if they win a game in this series. Maybe they can steal Game 3 because teams that are down 2-0 usually give it all-out effort, and sometimes the team up 2-0 takes it a little bit easy. That's generally a first period play for me. But I don't see anything being different in this game than it was the last game. This is not, to me, one of those zigzag series. I think the Golden Knights are just way too strong. And I'm not saying the team, obviously I live here in Las Vegas, I'm rooting for them. But to me, they outclassed Chicago the other night. And I think it might.
Dude, I am with you. I mean, I didn't get a chance to set it up because you just were chomping at the bit, which I understand. But I'm with you, man. I think Chicago's going to get swept here. And I think the Vegas Golden Knights are playing unbelievable hockey. Their 5-player swarm is back on the ice. It's just beautiful to watch. I like Vegas in regulation, and I like the over as well. Predicted score of 5-2. Andrew McGinnis.
I think the most impressive thing we could say about the Vegas Golden Knights is that they didn't take their foot off the gas pedal, I guess. And I think we look at the Chicago Blackhawks and we see how they went up and down, back and forth with the Edmonton Oilers throughout the entire series. I mean, how many lead changes can we actually see in one game? Comparison to what we saw in that Edmonton-Chicago game. I mean, if you had a money line in that series, you're having a heart attack every game. Not having any idea who's going to come out on top. With this one, it was pretty clear that even though it was 0-0, Vegas was carrying the pace of play, and it was just about time for something to happen. And, it was time because there was, I think, 3 goals, guys, in a couple minutes?
Yeah.
That they got the job done. So I like Vegas to keep rolling here. At the same time, though, I don't really like the price. I think that, every single person and their entire family and their family's dog are going to be on the over in this game. And for obvious reasons, because we're going from a 6.5 back down to a 6. I actually locked in the over 5.5 in regulation.
I love that.
Getting that number even lower. That's still a pretty good price. So that's the angle I'm going to look here. And, we'll get into to your guys' your bet with Carmine, the live bet yesterday. But I do quite a bit of in-game wagering as well, and I might look to bet this game in-game. I've been looking at one of these bets I've been trying to do a lot is a team to win the most periods. You see a team start really, really slow. Going into the third period, maybe grab Vegas to win the most periods. You can get that at about probably like
okay, there you go. Andrew McGinnis. Carmine, where are you going, baby?
Yeah, I think I'm just echoing all of your thoughts, but for me, it's Vegas in regulation time. I still feel, and probably even stronger now after that first game, that Vegas, I said going into game one, that of all the series, they're the one team that is most likely to sweep their series. And that 4-game sweep is still at plus 250 if you think they're going to sweep it. 5 games is like plus 175, but plus 250. I didn't see anything in game one, and we'll have to see what happens today, to give me any indication that that Chicago can do to Vegas what they did to Edmonton. We saw it in the first period. We saw it in all 3 periods. Listen, Lehner played good. That one goal is a shorthanded goal. It was a bit of a miscue. But they dominated throughout in that game, and they're likely going to do it here. I'm looking at, like I said, regulation time, just because that price is really good right now. If you don't want to lay minus 200, you can get this at minus 130, more or less across the board. I don't know on the total, and I'll tell you why, Prez, I think
we spoke about
are coming from Vegas. I think they locked down Chicago again, so it's very tough. I need to, when I'm looking at totals, I need to believe that both teams can put it on the board. And just the way Vegas shut down Chicago in that game, I'm just not sure of it. You could look at, something like even the first period and get plus 135 on Vegas, but laying half a goal. But again, these little prop bets, the problem with these, when you end up with a winning team, is they could have a 0-0 first period and you lose your bet. So the safest play here, in my eyes, is Vegas regulation time. And
I'll tell you, Carm, what I've been doing a lot is, waiting even just like 5-10 minutes into a game. if we see a scoreless result and then you go for a regulation bet then, or even if you already play it and then you want to double up or something. But right now we're seeing it. What's the price? Like I see minus 115 for them in regulation. You wait 10 minutes, or if we go scoreless through the first period, something like that, or even the first 5. All of a sudden, that's even money or plus 110.
And Carm and I play this game all the time. I mean, Carm and I do so much in-game betting. There is way more in-game betting going on than pre-game betting. That's for sure. And let's talk about that, Carm. So last night, Carm and I are watching this Colorado game. Carm, what was there? 9 minutes to go in the third, give or take. Right, so 13 and a half minutes to go in the third. The game was 0-0. Arizona had tallied a whopping 11 shots at that point. And Carm and I go over to Bet365, check out the in-game odds, and we got plus 380. Was that it, Carm? Plus 390 for Colorado to win by 2 goals. And Carm and I look at each other and we're like, well, if they get one, we're going to have 2 minutes of an empty netter.
Yeah, well, you're watching the game, so you're basing it on what you're seeing. And it just looked like at any point in the next few minutes, they were going to finally break through. They were all over them. I just thought at some point that goal is going to come. I just didn't see it going scoreless to overtime, and so you're banking on that goal to come, and then you know that you're going to get at least a couple minutes of empty net time, but it didn't even come to that because it was those quick succession goals.
You could just feel it. It was about time. It was just coming at one point. I mean, with how many chances Colorado had, it was about time it was going to come. One of the plays that I gave out as a player prop on yesterday's show was Colorado over 33 and a half shots. I believe they finished with 41.
Yeah. And this was on the heels
of... This is a crazy story.
Lawrence's, because I posted some tickets. But I'm watching the Champions League game, and I have PSG, and it's the exact same thing. The other team is winning 1-0, and so I took PSG at plus 350 odds, and then in the second half I took them at plus 450. They're still losing, but the other team came out and played a defensive game that they never do, and I've watched them blow leads like this in the Italian league. I thought this team is doing the wrong thing. They've changed their tactics to try and protect this game, and what happens? PSG score in the late in the game, last couple of minutes, and then it's still not a winning wager because they have to win it in regulation time. They literally score with 2 minutes left in the game and win, and I'm cashing plus 350, plus 450.
Nicely done, Carmine.
On this.
Jimmy Castellano, nice of you to join. He's a first-timer with us, big Golden Vegas Knights fan. And Jimmy, I'm a big Vegas Knights fan too. The Leafs are my team, but Vegas is my second favorite team. The WagerTalk head office, our corporation is in Vegas. We have a lot of staff in Vegas. I go to Vegas all the time. I go to games in Vegas, so I'm with you there, brother. That's for sure. They're the team I'm cheering for as we move forward. Okay. Dave Koken, Boston, minus 145. Carolina, plus 125. Over and under 5.5. I like the under here. I liked it in the last game as well, and I was wrong. But that's where I'm going, my friend.
Well, look, as it turns out, exactly what you expect takes place in Game 1 as far as the game-winning goal goes and as far as their overall performance goes. The Bruins, I don't think the Bruins are going to win the Cup for one reason. They just don't have any balance. But that first line of theirs it's the best first line in the NHL. I know I get arguments from this all the time, but it is the best first line, best two-way first line in the NHL because Bergeron is...
Agreed.
He's one of the great defensive forwards of all time, and he can score. And as usual, he had the big goal that won the game for the Bruins. Pasternak's amazing. I mean, that first line is absolutely sensational. The problem is the Bruins just don't get much out of the rest. Krejci looked really good in Game 1. They need more of that from him. But Carolina's balance, to me, is something that's going to keep them in this series because they can match up well with the Bruins aside from that first line. So the whole key for the Hurricanes is, can they find a way to limit that first line of the Bruins to maybe being +1 in the game? If they can do that, they'll have a real good shot here. I think Carolina's going to come out of that game confident. They can say to themselves, we should have won that. We could have won that. We're just as good as they are. And I think this is going to be a difficult series for the Bruins. I don't have a good opinion on this game. I mean, my numbers slightly favor the Bruins, not enough to indicate a wager, and yet there's also not enough value for me to take the dog.
I agree with you on the side 100%. Matt Carpenter, thanks for pointing out that everyone needs to hit that like button. It does help us a lot. Much appreciate the team effort there. Andrew McGinnis, sitting in an office in Halifax. We can see out your back window. Talk to me.
Yeah, so the records on back-to-backs this year were for Carolina 8-5, for the Boston Bruins 5-6 on the season. That's back-to-back records, and I think that if you look at it, I can't speak for everybody, but I remember losses way more than I remember wins, and that's just who I am. And yesterday, I don't complain a lot. Yesterday was an absolute BS over. I mean, I had the under for just 2% of my bankroll, and I lose that, and we had one goal that shouldn't have counted. There was a hand pass or goalie interference. The next one was a shorthanded goal. And Dave, I get your point about what you said about Bergeron's line, the top line. I believe that, and I would argue that with anybody. But that last goal wasn't a nice goal. Mrazek gave the entire net to Bergeron. He practically slid across the whole ice and said, "Here's the net for you." He gave him a whole soccer net to shoot into. That's not skill. If Mrazek plays even slightly better, I think the Bruins are in for a tough go. And I like the Bruins, actually. I liked them yesterday to kind of prove people wrong. It sounded like everyone liked Carolina. So I think Carolina bounces back. I would bet them with a real juicy price at +190 in regulation. We're going to try and get some good prices going here, and that's where I would look, the +190. However, Prez, I feel the same way as you. I think go right back to the under train with these two teams, off the back-to-back situation. I talked about, fatigue and all that kind of stuff could cause overs. Not with these guys. They're going to want to really, really tighten things up. We saw some sloppy play yesterday. That's not really acceptable. And like I said, a couple really bad goals. So yesterday, I don't say this stuff that often, but, when it was like 3-1, it could have been a 1-1 game. And that's one I wish I had back.
What's interesting, I would consider starting Reimer here, with it being the second back-to-backs and coming out of a real
series, Dave.
Yeah, and coming out of a really long game. I might go with Reimer, and he was really good.
And Maz had a tough go.
I'll be interested. I have not looked to see. I haven't looked to see who the confirmed goalies are yet, but it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me if Brendan Moore makes a switch, not to punish Mrazek, but that was a long game, and you could assume he warmed up the prior night as well for the game that was postponed. So I really think this is a spot where actually both teams.
I agree, and Maz did not look good. Carmine, you liked Boston in the first game. You were the only one. You cashed. Nicely done. What are you doing tonight?
Yeah, and this is the weird thing is, while I currently don't have a play on this game, I'm leaning the other way. I just think this is one of those series that's going to go 6 or 7 games. It's your typical zigzag type series, and I'd rather take the plus money. I'd lean to the under, kind of like Andrew said. Listen, you take away the shots on goal in that overtime, and those final numbers are like 28-21, I believe. That's not a lot, especially with these two teams, and there weren't a lot of very good scoring chances. So a little unlucky on the under. I believe so, and 5.5 is still. I'm surprised. If we get a low-scoring game tonight, we might see a 5 in Game 3. There's a very good chance we see a 5 in the Game 3, as we saw with the Hurricane games in the playoffs last year. So for me, I'm going to take the Canes as a short dog here to even this series up. I don't see any starting goalies confirmed yet, Dave.
No, I don't either.
I'm
looking at the projections.
Yeah.
And the projections say Mrazek and Rask, but that
does change. It's not, and I think you're right.
And the game is not till 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time, so it's early. They've got Kudobin projected for Dallas, and I think personally,
he has to start.
So,
boys, here's what's going on today.
Yeah.
We have stoppage time at 1 p.m. Eastern. I will not be hosting stoppage time. There's only 1 or 2 left for the year. When I say the year, that's like another 2 months or 1 month until soccer's back running. Stoppage at 1, first pitch at 2, NBA show at 3. Also, mark in your calendar, September 1st. September 1st, that's when everything changes. The show Wager Talk Today will be released on September 1st. That show is hosted by me with Teddy Covers as a co-host. But more importantly, wait till you see the image, the graphics, the movement, the style of the show. And then we'll be launching all shows in a similar vein. So September 1st is a very important date for us. Put it down. Teddy and I will be hosting a show Monday to Friday, noon to 1 Eastern. It'll take a look at all the big games for that night. We will have 1 handicapping guest on. We'll have 1 bookmaker on, and we will have Ralph every single day. So check that out. And G8 Pass, really appreciate the nice words. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, boys, Calgary, Dallas, basically a pick 'em here. Dallas minus 115. A total of under 5 to the even money. Calgary looked awesome. Dave,
I'm glad they did.
You had them as your 5% play. They won. They did make you sweat, though, especially at the end. My God, when that guy put the puck over the boards, then he puts his hands up like, "Oh, what did I do? What did I do?"
Yeah, that wasn't fun. And outside of that, it was a 9-second span in the second period. It's like, what just happened? I mean, it's 2-0, and then in 9 seconds, it's 2-2. It's like, oh no! But they got the third goal to take back the lead before the end of the period, and I felt pretty good at that time. And it will not be a 5% play today because Dallas is down 1-0, and I expect them to throw everything they can at Calgary here. But the matchup and my numbers remain the same, which is that Calgary's a better team than Dallas, in my opinion. I have them on a neutral ice surface. I have them beating Calgary. And there's a couple of reasons for that. I had Calgary beating Dallas. The primary reason for that is the same thing that has plagued the Dallas Stars all season, and we saw it again in Game 1. They do a lot of things well. They play sound positional hockey. They're strong defensively. They can be physical. But they just don't have finishers on this team. They don't. I mean, Ben's their best goal scorer, and I don't put him in that superstar category. I think he's a good player, obviously, but they just don't have that guy who can break out and get the big goal when they need it. It's been a problem with Dallas for a couple of seasons now that they just haven't been able to address, and it's what separates, to me, Dallas from being a good team to a real good team. I know they get every year. The Dallas Stars get a lot of attention as a team that might be able to win it all because they generally have strong goaltending and good defense. But you're still going to have that one line that strikes fear into the opposition, and they just don't have it. Calgary got to be feeling really good about themselves right now. I mean, you can look at the Jets series and say, well, they got lucky because Winnipeg lost 2 of their best players and some other guys got hurt. And the series was misleading, but the fact is they pretty well dominated the series, and now they go in and take Game 1. I think they're going to take Game 2.
Yeah, no. Listen, I don't know what to do in this game, so I'll take your advice on that one. I can't play the total. Dallas plays to the under every game. Calgary plays to the under a lot, but the under's 5, and in playoff hockey, that's just too low. Sidewise, man, this is a tough series for me. You got a better handle on the series than I do, Dave.
Well, and one of the thing I'll throw in real quickly is that generally speaking, when the favorite, the higher seeded team loses game 1, you're going to see an adjustment in the line because the reaction is going to be, well, they're not going to lose 2 in a row. They're the higher seeded team.
Yeah.
No adjustment whatsoever. You get the same number here as you had in the first game. So that tells me that there might be, for what it's worth, I think there's some sharper money on Calgary here because I'm pretty sure the public, and looking at the information that I have, the public is betting Dallas here about 60-40. And yet the line is where it is. So sharper dollars for what that's
point,
worth,
Dave.
Appear to be on the Flames.
JYOT from BC. Nice of you to join us. Thanks for the kind words and congratulations on a great win by Vancouver last night. Andrew, help me out, dude. I can't find a bet in this Dallas game. Dave, he likes Calgary. Where are you?
I think it was an outstanding spot that Dave had for his 5%. Not that he needs me to say that, but I gave took my hat to him for that one. But I believe it sets up for a great spot for a bounce back for the Dallas Stars. I mean, that to me is what would have been a situational bet. Betting on the team coming off a very exciting win, hard-fought win versus the Winnipeg Jets against a team like Dallas that didn't really give 2 shits about their seeding games, and now they're here in the real playoffs. It's a big time, the big time thing, and they weren't ready in game 1, but they're going to be ready in game 2. Quality teams and quality veterans make adjustments, and this is what we're going to see. And I feel like a kid on Christmas, and you call me a kid anyway, but seeing this price on Dallas is just too good to pass up here. I think Calgary's a good team. They could win the series, but I'm not taking them to go up 2-0 here on this series. So I like them, and like I've been doing, and some people argue with me and say, oh, well, there's that factor of overtime. I'm willing to sacrifice overtime to go from minus 110 to plus 155 in regulation.
Totally agree, Andrew. Guys who are telling people to smash that like button, man, much love. Raymond, Bob, John, thank you guys. The way it works on YouTube, I mean, really, it's simple. The more likes we get, the higher we get up in the YouTube algorithm, the more people visit us. We are literally like 80 people away from 50,000 subscribers. Just think about that. 50,000 subscribers. Go take a look at our competitors and what they have. Carmine Bianco.
And we would love for it to be on puck time that we achieve that 50,000 subscribers. It would just make my day.
Well, then it has to happen tomorrow, everybody, because it will happen over the weekend. Carm, Andrew's on Dallas, Koken's on Calgary. Yes. I don't know what to do. Regale us.
Yes, you've brought me in as the tiebreaker. As I'm looking at our YouTube channel.
Yes, you have. I don't know why.
On the YouTube channel for a while, so it looks like it's okay. It just looks like I'm really concentrating on what Dave is saying. So this is great for me. But regardless, I'm siding with Andrew here. If you watch the our first show on game 1 of this series, I did say that I was going to come back with the team that lost game 1 in game 2 to win, unless I saw something in the game that that led me to believe that that just one team was better than the other. And I don't think Calgary was extremely better. They were better in that game, definitely, but they came off a series. I still feel they came off a series that was a very easy series for them. The minute Sheffley and Laine were out of that lineup for Winnipeg were doomed to lose that series. That series was Calgary's to lose, not win. I think if I said that right, but yeah. And in this series here, I'm telling you, this is going 6 or 7 games. And I think the price on the series to go 6 or 7 games to end in 6 or 7 is plus 225 on either game 6 or game 7. But regardless of that, I think it's a bounce back here for Dallas. I really do. I don't think they're going to go down 2 games in the series. Maybe the Flames will prove me wrong tonight, but I saw enough from Dallas, especially in that second period where they looked the better team, that if they can put it together and get on Calgary early in game 1, that they're going to win this series. And regulation time is a good bet.
What about the series, Carm? Plus 185 here.
Yeah, I just don't know, because I hate to use that stupid phrase of zigzagging or what have you, but it's one that gets used in sports, and I just don't know how this series is going to go beyond 4 games, and we could easily be tied at 2 games apiece, and it becomes a 3-game series. I really don't know. It's just one of those ones where we end up changing our minds from game to game based on what we see. I mean, it's the same as talking about, the Vegas game. I saw nothing from Chicago to lead me to believe that they can beat the Golden Knights. And if the Golden Knights pound them again today, it's going to tell me that in game 3, I'm just going to come right back with the Golden Knights. So it's one of those things where you go watch the games and you reevaluate your opinion as you move on. That's what we have to do as handicappers, right? You just can't stick to something and stick to your guns and then go down with the ship because you refuse to change the position on a game.
We got our thumbs down, Carm. We finally got our 1 thumbs down. Yeah.
Yeah. There's that one guy. I think.
Yeah, there's the one guy just runs around, gives thumbs down to all the videos. I don't get it. Anyway, real quick, and then we'll get to Andrew's prop bets. Brett Kinney, it says, Prez, you got to let these guys talk. You keep interrupting them. Brett, there's a slight delay on Skype coming in. I don't interrupt these guys a ton. Sometimes it does happen. The one where you're speaking to, where I was speaking over Andrew, I actually couldn't hear him, and I thought he had finished. So my bad. Lots of love to the 3 of you guests with me. I don't mean to do that.
I think we all.
Yeah, it says I'm having an encoding overload, but
still hear us.
It's the first time it's happened in 2 weeks, so whatever, we move on. Andrew, prop bets, and we'll call it a show.
Yeah, for the Tampa Bay game, I'm on Nikita Kucherov over 1.5 points at plus 145. I mentioned the Stars are going to come out to play in this one. Not as much, I don't think, the depth players. So over 1.5 points at plus 145. I have Andre Palat to score plus 300. With goal scoring props, I like to have value. And if I can't get value, I usually look the other direction with the point props over 1.5. So I'm on Palat plus 300 to score. That's also in the Tampa Bay game. And then for Vegas, Alex Tuck on the third line plus 310. Anytime goal scorer. This third line looked great for the Vegas Golden Knights in their first game. And everyone wants to talk about Mark Stone, Pacioretty, those guys. Their third line is just outstanding. I'm sure any Vegas Golden Knight fan would agree with me. And last but certainly not least, I'm going with Rupe Hintz from the Dallas Stars to score at plus 275. I think he's a sleeper player on that team, and I think if Dallas does well today, I think he does well too. Plus 275. We got Kucherov over 1.5. Palat to score, Tuck to
there
score,
you go.
and Hintz to score.
Victor, right, stop lying. You interrupt all the time. I without question have an interruption problem. Speak to Viv, my woman. She wants to kill me. We've got like signals and she'll like rub her nose. I know I'm interrupting. Dave, thank you for joining us, brother. We'll see you tomorrow. You too, Andrew and Carm. Andrew and Dave are on first pitch at 2 Eastern. Carmine is hosting Stoppage at 1 Eastern. And, of course, we have our NBA show. Love you all, man. Just love seeing you guys. We'll see you tomorrow, 11 Eastern.